right, welcome into Bettor's Last Stand, show number 27. Matt and Chris here with you, waiting on Cooley. He had a last-minute baseball lifting session that he had to oversee up at the Wheeling Park weight room, so he'll be joining us momentarily, and I definitely want to get his thoughts as his boy Brady shuts it down again today. We'll see if it sticks. He says it will, but as you know, Chris, these athletes don't always know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, so. I hope Tom keeps his word.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he for his sake, I hate to see guys that stick around too long, and I don't think he has, but I don't think he should chance it.
No, you know what? And he ended if he did end his career this year, he didn't have a bad last season.
No, he was fine. They had a lot of deficiencies as a team, but I didn't think it was his fault. So.
Right, but you know, just walk away, Tom. You're healthy.
Yes.
And you got a
cost him a marriage, but maybe that wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I'm sure when he's back on the market, it's going to be tough for him to.
I don't think he'll have any trouble nailing down any significant action. But
yeah, I'm sure a lot of girls would turn him down.
Yeah. Geez, only the best quarterback ever. But yep. So we're here on Bettor's Last Stand, the Pine Room betting show. You guys had a good show last night, from what I hear.
Yeah,
we
were
on the regular podcast. I was off last night, so lots going on though in the sporting world as we get to the final game in the NFL, which I am so happy about. I just hate the NFL. I don't know why I even put myself through it, but it's miserable.
Well, it's basically, man, if you're just a casual, not a cab, but if you're a fan just watching that Bengals Chiefs game with to see all the discrepancies in the penalties, and just it makes you wonder. And for guys like you and I that always, by this time we're just so footballed out, and but we probably felt that way like in week 9.
Nah, probably week 2.
But it's like, God, you see this stuff and it just never stops happening.
No, and same crews, no accountability.
No.
And I don't care. I honestly, I'm tired of hearing the fan groups of these teams bitch and moan too, because this is just the way it is for all the teams. That they suck across the board. There's no emphasis to get better with officiating at any level, I don't feel like. And I know we have some guys who are close to the podcast that are good officials, have been for a long time, and we always say not all these guys are bad, but the vast majority of these leagues make zero attempt to try to improve their product or their officiating, and I don't know what the solution is. I mean, they pay these guys a lot of money,
yeah, they do,
and at the highest level.
It's part-time work, though,
yes,
isn't it?
It is, and these guys are not bad off anyway. Most of them have successful day jobs. But there's no accountability. It's really, other than news weather person, I don't know what you can. Yeah. You can be terrible at it, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and even if a guy does, and even if he has a terrible game and some of his calls affected the outcome, the NFL they'll give you these standard. Yeah. We apologize. We made a mistake. Yeah. And then that guy's got a game next week.
Exactly. Yeah. And nothing ever happens. It's a good old boys club. I hate to say it, and I know Coach. He's very, he doesn't like to talk bad about the referees, but you just have to. When a guy's bad at his job, I don't care what profession it is, they deserve to be called out and they deserve to be held accountable. You and I are at our jobs. If we don't perform, they find a replacement for us.
And I'd love to hear them explain why they made the call that they did.
Yeah, and I am so tired of instant replay. I really do believe that it's made the game worse. I think they should do away with it. I really do. I think these guys fall back on that, and then when they do, in the human's defense, the league gets it wrong time after time.
Yeah, they do.
It's a marvel to me that we have all this technology, but somehow whenever you need to have the view that you need to make the call or change it, it's not there. How can that be? And it does make you wonder. And again, you know me, you've listened to this show, Bettor's Last Stand. We're never going to tell you these games are fixed, because I don't believe they are. They're surely not fixed by the athletes, by the coaches. Right. But if anybody's going to have influence on it, it could be the officiating, or the guy reviewing the officials, or the person that's doing the instant replay. I'm not saying that they're compromised. Let's hope they're not, but it's been proven that has happened before in the biggest league, one of the biggest leagues on the planet, the NBA. So that's an absolute proven fact. So you can't ever say never. And again, you don't want to indict everybody because there's plenty of guys out there making a living at this, trying to do a good job.
Right.
And thank God for them. But as you talked about on our radio show last week about the shortage of officials, it's a serious problem.
Yeah.
And that, obviously, you don't have the issues with parents and annoying fans and stuff as much at the pro level. So I don't know what their excuse is. Like, these guys they're hand-picking guys who should be very good. And I think the league lets them down, though. I think the instant replay should just be done away with because I don't think it's helped the game at all.
Well, I totally agree, and I want to ask you a question. It's about the replay. Do you know? That was in the first quarter of that Eagles game when that guy apparently.
Right. We all thought, from our view, when we were at Abby's, we all see a great catch. We thought it was a great catch. When they went to the break, we had no idea what was even happening. I don't know how by the time the Eagles got there to run their next play, and then they score, and we didn't see a replay until after that.
Right.
Yeah. So
because I remember that, like, we were at the Abby's party, so people were, you and I were BS, not really paying a whole lot of attention. Then you hear, like, the people there reacting 10 minutes later when they showed it.
Exactly.
But how does somebody, though, from San Fran not catch that?
How many guys do you think they have on their staff? I mean, they got girls on the staff. They have men on the staff, obviously. There's 25 guys at least.
Be one person's job?
He said that there is. I just
wonder if
I think the moment's too big for Shanahan. I never liked him anyway. It worried me about that game. And again, he pisses himself in the first quarter. Why would you not have called timeout? I don't understand. It's the first quarter. It's a fourth down play. This is you're the underdog in a hostile environment. You're going to take the ball over in really good field position with a strong running game. And maybe you take a 7-0 lead and that whole game's different. Purdy doesn't get hurt. You don't know. There's so many things that could have.
That catch or non-catch? I mean, obviously it was a catch, but that was a fourth down.
Fourth down. It would have been San Francisco's ball, probably out around their own 38-yard line or something. 40. I don't know. It was a long play.
Yeah, because it was a long play, and it went down in almost like inside the 10, right?
Yeah. And then you see the Eagles running up to the line of scrimmage like it's the fourth quarter, and no one from San Francisco even thinks to call timeout. At that point, I got to say, I kind of blame everyone in San Francisco. If I'm one of the players, now I know it's very difficult when you're playing to be able to ascertain what happened, especially with your own responsibilities.
Right.
But something seemed off, and when they start seeing Devontae Smith running back like signaling to hurry, if I'm like the linebacker, the guy that's calling the sets for San Francisco or their lineman, I'm just calling timeout. Because if he's going to yell at me, I might have just saved the game for my team, and it's the first quarter. Everybody can recover from a timeout blown in the first quarter. If you're a good team and you're in the NFC Championship, there's no excuse not to be able to overcome that.
And like you said,
the whole game changed.
Half. Yep.
And you just don't know. But again, why does the NFL have replay if they're never going to get calls like that right? I get the burden. I don't think coaches should have challenges. I don't think it does any good. I mean, you got that guy from the Dolphins. I think he got one challenge right all year. Now, how can that possibly be? He was labeled a genius too. Like I don't know. I really don't know about the intelligence, and I also think when coaches who call plays, I'll say this till I die. Coaches who call plays don't manage the game as well as coaches that don't. It's a proven fact. I feel like Shanahan's over there looking about what's he's going to run on his next offensive. He's not probably even really that concerned about what's going on out there on defense because he calls the plays.
That's the same with Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
And those fans on those messages, they'll say, well, he looks like he's just looking at the dinner menu from like Denny's.
It does. Something. It looks like a Denny's or a big Chinese restaurant menu.
And he's not focused on the entire picture.
I don't understand that. There's so much that goes into football now, and you have so much data, analytics. You have a million different staff members that do just one job, and how you can't find a better way to operate is beyond me. Why even hire an offensive coordinator if you're going to call the plays? What good does it do?
Well, I'd like to. It'd be. I mean, you could probably find out if you did the research. Go back and say, like, look at say the 70s, for instance, like. How many staff members did coaching? How big was the coaching staff then?
6, 7 guys probably.
Probably like 25 now.
Yeah, easily. I'm probably more. More than that. I mean, I think it's probably in the 30s in college.
Well, Jesus, look at even the basketball rosters in college.
They got a whole group of guys that sit behind the bench now because they don't have enough room.
Yeah,
it's like 2 rows. I mean, It's literally, I think somebody did break this down one time, and I don't have it obviously in front of me right now, but it was like per every player on the team, there was like 3 coaches, like in a college game. Like you have 15 guys, and you have like 45 people involved in the staff. Maybe not all on the bench, but between your video coordinators and all your other people, it's like each guy's getting his own 3-person attention squad.
Right. Compared to the average student.
Yeah, and I also think if you look back in the old days, half the time these old time coaches, they didn't even wear headsets. They didn't have the things that are available, and somehow they were able to operate and win. And again, Belichick, he doesn't do that. He delegates. He gets involved heavily, but he always remembers he's the head coach and that he's responsible for every single part of the game, special teams, going forward on fourth downs, and defensive, whatever he's going to do. I don't know. It blows my mind, and I do like the coach from the Eagles. I will give him credit. Well, it's all we've done is bitch the first 10 minutes of the show, but I will give him credit. He had some guts. He went for it on a 4th down early in the game in his own territory, which I like. He's being aggressive, and I feel like he trusts his 2 coordinators, and then that gives him a better chance of succeeding in those other parts of the game where the head coach is so important. And I don't think that San Francisco will probably ever win with Kyle Shanahan as their coach, and I hate to see that. I was on San Francisco on Sunday. It was disappointing. Obviously, without Purdy, they were not probably going to win anyway. But that whole game changed when he didn't do that, when he didn't challenge that call, and I don't understand what he had to lose. And I thought his excuse was pathetic, and I'd really just...
What did he say, Matt?
He just said, like, well, he could only see the replay in the stadium. I'm like, what the... Obviously, the Eagles aren't going to show you the one where the ball's laying on the ground.
Oh, so
you just trusted that. Yeah, great idea.
No. Well, right, and even if there was, you're right. The guy in Philly operating that board's not going to show that.
No, I don't know. To me, the safest thing to do was call timeout until you're sure, and then either challenge it or don't. By then, you should have had more information. But, huge opportunity missed, and the whole game could have changed. But.
Yeah, well, and I want to get at, and it just, when we were talking about officials, and this really isn't a bitch, but you talked about, like NBA, and we talked about Donahue before, but I just saw on Twitter just recently about an NBA ref. I think he and his family are huge Celtics fans.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who the guy is. These newer guys I don't really know, but he's done a ton of Celtics games, but there's 36-2 in games that he officiates.
And that's just ridiculous.
I don't know the guy. I'd have to look that back
up.
Oh,
that'll be easy to find. That's terrible. That is not right for that guy to be put in that situation. I don't care if he's doing the right thing all the time or not. But I can just tell you this. Right now, perfect example. I'm Miami. I love Miami.
Right.
If I was an official and I was refereeing a Miami game, first of all, I'd request to never have to do one.
Right.
That would be the honest and really in the just to be fully transparent. Operate with the fullest integrity. You just don't want to put yourself in that spot. I got to tell you this: if it's a 50-50 call and I'm not sure, chances are I'm calling it for my team. And that's all you need to know right there.
Yep,
and
exactly.
As much as I want to do the right thing, you cannot help it. And I thought that was ridiculous in that Tim Donahue thing that we all watched on the podcast. If you haven't seen that, check it out.
Yeah.
Operation Flagrant Foul. It's on Netflix about the Donahue scandal. But he tried to say the same thing. Like, it would never infect him. Even though he was given picks, it didn't affect the way he officiated. That's impossible. I don't know how. We're all people. We're all humans. We're all we all have competitive spirits, at least most of us. And you want to be right when you're putting your neck on the line. You would want to be right.
Exactly.
So you're going to do whatever you can do within the general rules to make sure that you are right, especially when you're getting paid money or your family's being threatened, as he claimed. But it's just human nature, and shame on people for letting that guy be in that situation. I mean, that's like letting Jeff and Luke Doyle referee Notre Dame games. Like, you can't do that. It's not, and obviously they probably would decline.
No, right, sure, they would too.
But these guys, I think there's an arrogance there, and you see it a lot in a lot of professions where you have power or you have a lot of influence. that you think that you are just above it. Like you can, I'm this good. I won't let it affect me. It's just, can't be true. We all know it.
And even if it's blatant, like you mentioned earlier, there's not much accountability. I mean, there's no real consequences.
Between that and the Scott Foster, that's enough right there to get the NBA investigated again. But no one even says a word about it. It's a shame.
It really is.
That's why you don't bet the NBA.
Yeah.
No, it's just, I don't know. You hate to see it, but there is integrity questions everywhere you turn, and it's surely not in the sports books, and it's surely not coming out of Nevada or players that are fixing games and things like that. That would be far more difficult to do. So anyway, let's move on. The second game, both games stayed under on.
Yes, they did. Yep.
On Sunday. Now 7 straight unders in these playoff games after 5 straight overs. So pretty crazy turn of events there. Both games, obviously, with San Francisco getting their quarterbacks both hurt in the game. The under was looking pretty good. In play was almost minus $3, $4, $5 to stay under in the mid 30s. So you could have made a pretty good killing on the just keep crushing the under the best you could. Or as soon as you saw Purdy go out, it was probably the time to start getting in on that.
Yeah.
Opening line right now, this was an interesting a lot of places had the Chiefs open as the favorite. Some had it picked, some had it Eagles. Right now it's settled around 1.5 for the Eagles. It was 2.5 yesterday. Actually, when I printed these, it was 2.5. So you got a lot of fluctuation. So it's going to depend on where you're at in your particular area, who's betting on who. So you keep an eye on it. Total's starting to come back up. It's up to 50 now. I found that interesting. I like the under so far in this game. I'm not really certain. We'll give out our official picks and stuff next week, along with some props that we like and things like that. But right now, if I was going to lean, I like the Chiefs a lot in this game. I think they'll win, and I think the game will stay under. I think that Philadelphia is good, but they're not going to be playing in their home field anymore against the Giants and the depleted 49ers. So I think it's a big step up in class for them. Kansas City, to me, has been far more battle-tested. They played Cincinnati twice. They played Buffalo. They played San Francisco and hammered them. I just feel like they're – and if they get a somewhat healthy Mahomes and most of their guys are back after 2 weeks of a break here, I know that pass rush is good, but Mahomes can make plays that most guys can't. So
and I agree with you on that because – and I thought Jalen Hurts looked – awful Sunday.
I heard some people saying how good he was. I thought he was awful. I thought that play that Smith made, and I thought they made a couple of other really nice plays, but they didn't have to, and their running game was great.
Yes.
Which was surprising, actually, that they ran the ball so well against San Francisco.
Yeah, because he missed a couple wide open guys, too. I know he had somebody down the sideline. He overthrew him by 2 yards. I think Mahomes will
I agree.
Is a huge difference here.
I think I think the line's backwards. I don't think the Eagles should have been favored in this game. I get it if you're doing it based on injuries, but a couple of reputable sports books that I would trust, each of them had the Chiefs favored in this game, all things considered, and I would too. I'd have the Chiefs minus about a field goal in this game. Chiefs pass rush is very, very good. I know that Phillies is too, but KC's offensive line is no slouch, and Mahomes can make plays out of the pocket better than anybody. And I like the way that the Kansas City secondary is very young, but they're coming together.
Though,
they make plays.
Just their defense
they're coming
overall.
Yes, it is. It gets no respect at all. It's improved a lot. Steve Spagnuolo is a big game coordinator. He's done a good job. I really like what they've done with their secondary, all first and second year guys. They got rid of those veterans. They got rid of Honey Badger and a couple of other guys that were experienced, and they went young in the draft. And these guys are they're gonna be better for it because the next 2 or 3 years, these guys are gonna have incredible experience under their belt, and they've gotten so much better since the beginning of the year. I like Kansas City a lot in this game. I really think they're going to win this game handily. So we'll talk more about the Super Bowl obviously next week. Brady retires. That's the big news of the day, as we talked about Cooley. Chris, we gave our thoughts on that. What do you think about some of these other guys? Aaron Rodgers. What do you think his is in his future?
Well, he's just an odd guy.
He is.
You never get any straight answers from him. I don't know. I mean.
But it is.
If I were him, I would. I don't know. I'd probably just look elsewhere.
I would too. I don't like the coach up there. I think he's done all he can do. He's been pretty patient with them. They have not done right by him, in my opinion, with their drafting. I don't think they have.
I was just going to bring up, going back to that Jordan Love thing.
Yeah, terrible job
first round pick and that was what, 4 years ago.
Yes, you get an all-time great quarterback, and your Super Bowl window's wide open at this point. Like, you got Devontae Adams in his prime, you got good running backs, you got a good offensive line. What are you doing? What are you doing not getting them another weapon or something? I mean,
well, yeah, and you hear these people talking like, well, Rodgers can be an all-time great, but he's only got one Super Bowl, and I agree with that.
Dan Marino was great, right? And he never won anything.
But it's not all the quarterback's fault.
No, it's not.
I mean, you'd have to go back and look at the championship games they've lost or whatever, and how he played. But it's just
it always gets blamed on him.
Yeah. I mean, one Super Bowl. I mean, hell, I think he's an all-time great.
Oh, I do too. I don't see how you cannot say it. I mean, the guy's efficiency numbers are spectacular. Just take him off that team and tell me how many wins they have. Even this 3, 2. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know who would have a worse record. Honestly, I think they would have a worse record than the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs would have a little better record. I think the Chiefs have a little bit better team. If they took Mahomes off the team. I don't know why. I think Aaron Rodgers' politics and the fact that he didn't get vaccinated, I think, is why a lot of people don't like him, which is really disappointing to me that people can't put that aside. Get over it. Get over it. The COVID thing's done with. Be done with it and just shut up.
But the other thing, and I agree with you, but why does anybody give a flying fuck? Why does anybody care what Aaron Rodgers does?
I mean,
it doesn't fucking matter.
No, it doesn't. Cooley, welcome to the show. No, it doesn't matter. I don't know. It's very it's immature and stupid, and it's uneducated to get mad at a guy just because he didn't get the vaccine, or they think
hey, Matt,
oh boy,
that and when it comes to Hall of Fame votes, some guys will probably hold that against
probably. Just like they hold against all the baseball players that they won't vote in.
Oh, Jesus.
But Cooley, welcome to the show. We were just talking about your boy Brady and then Aaron Rodgers. Thoughts on Tom calling it quits finally, again?
We're back into the dark ages for the Buccaneers. It's about to get really ugly.
So back to the mid-'70s.
Yeah.
Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
Or Trask. Maybe you can get Derek Carr.
I think they're going to try to get a competitive quarterback. Somebody like Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo, but I don't want them to do that.
They probably should just tank and just try to rebuild.
Yeah, I just don't see Todd doing it because if he has a bad year, he could get fired.
He'll get canned unless they tell him that's what they want him to do. But he'll have no problem being bad. That's for sure. He'll get you a top 5 pick for sure next year. Just leave it up to him, especially with the quarterback. What about Aaron Rodgers? Any thoughts on him? Where you think he's going to end up?
I don't know. I'm tired of hearing about him every offseason. But I think his best landing spot would be the Jets.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Ravens. I hope he goes there.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. I read on the Ravens thing the other day about the Ravens were considering trying to make a move for him and then trying to get DeAndre Hopkins.
Wait a minute, you guys got a Pro Bowl quarterback. You don't need him. You got Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowl. Yeah.
Two touchdowns.
There's another thing. I don't even know.
I tell you what, if I was Rodgers, I mean, I don't know off the top of my head like what's available, but I like to go like for him. If I was him, I'd obviously a winning situation, but I'd want to go somewhere where it's warm. Yeah. He played in Green Bay all those years.
Well, then I'm surprised people aren't saying San Francisco for him too.
What about the Raiders?
Well, I thought about that but the Raiders have anything to give up? I don't know. Because I thought reuniting with Adams out there would definitely be discussed, but
didn't San Fran give up a shit ton of picks to get McCaffrey
and Trey Lance to give up 3 firsts? But
yeah, so their cupboard might be a little bit bare as far as draft picks. I don't know, but
tell you what, come on down to Tampa.
I was gonna say,
that'd be all right for you.
Mike Evans still has a few good years left, right? I mean, he's probably like 31, but
that'd be a hell of a change from there to Tampa.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, that'll the NFL, that's like a year round, so they're always constantly talking about the NFL. So
the XFL is almost here, so we'll be talking about that here in the coming weeks. Just a few thoughts here as we get ready to shut down on segment 1. Cooley, what were your observations of the 2 games this past weekend?
Well, obviously the 49er game didn't turn out how we thought with Purdy getting hurt.
Right.
So I mean that was tough. Even then, the Eagles' offense really didn't look too good.
That's what we were saying. I thought Hurts didn't play that well.
I thought he missed a couple easy passes.
Yes, he did.
But the other game, Bengals, Chiefs, great game. Obviously, that idiot number 58. I can't say his name, but I don't know what
the guy that was crying after the game and acting like the media was wrong for asking him about that.
Yeah,
like, come on.
The biggest play of the game.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with that? I mean, what does it matter? Like, I don't think a bad question is to say, were you aware he was out of bounds when you hit him, or did you not see? Like, why is that out of bounds? People were like saying these immoral for the media asking that. Because this is soft baby society, Chris. You can't ask the guy that because he might get upset and he'd cry.
You can't man
everybody
up and
wins.
Be a man and be
and
accountable.
he did kind of do it, but man, people were just crushing these reporters who asked him about it.
Well, it's no different than asking a quarterback, like, if he throws a game-ending pick, what'd you see on that play or something like that? So
what were you thinking there? What was going through your mind? What's wrong with that? This is what journalism's supposed to be. But the problem with our country is we don't do it like that anymore. We don't put people.
Maybe he needed a safe space.
Yeah, probably. You know what? He'll probably need a mental health day.
Right.
And maybe the Bengals can pay for some treatments as if he needs anything else.
But he did it himself. It was all his fault. I mean,
it is. I mean, you hate to see that a play, or obviously games decided like that. But you have to make the call. You're hitting the best player in the damn league. You think you're going to get away with it? I mean, come on.
And even though it was a very slight push, and if you watch that again, Mahomes' left cleat tripped him up. But don't even give the ref a chance to make the call.
And they know the dude's out there limping around and shit, and they're paying attention to him. Like, the referees are going to be very, very certain that he's not going to get, somebody going to take a cheap shot at him or something. Work on the knee, like Champ would say, like work on the ankle. I mean, they got to be aware of that.
And do you think in that situation it would have been called if it was Juju? Maybe. I mean, compared to Mahomes, because it wasn't.
I would say less likely to have happened on a skilled player that wasn't a quarterback.
Yeah,
but.
Like you said, he already had that bad has that bad ankle. So
he was 2 steps out of bounds at that point when he got hit. So it was a horrible hit.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way they couldn't call that. So I'm sorry, Bengal fans. Like, that's nothing you can do. It's just a.
Well, Matt, I did see something, and it backs up your point. I don't know who it was, but it might have been one of them Pittsburgh media guys was beating on the Bengals and just saying how they talk shit. They put blackboard material up, then they start doing dumb shit on the field and being their own worst enemy. And he said they're easy to hate. But they brought it on themselves.
I've been saying that for a while now. I'm glad some other people are catching on because they're not a very likable team, and I think their window's about shut. Once they got to pay Burrow and Chase, they're really going to struggle to keep that roster good and competitive. But we'll see. I didn't think Burrow was sharp at all. I thought his receivers made a few really good plays in the game, and he turned it over twice, which is uncharacteristic of him. But anyway, GR to them. I'm not losing any sleep over that one. How about these, before we take our first break, how about thoughts on these hires? I see Kellen Moore to the Chargers, which we just have on the TV, which that already happened.
From Dallas, right? He was in Dallas.
Yeah, just a terrible hire, in my opinion. Fangio, supposedly the Dolphins, but somebody said maybe the 49ers are going to swoop in and get him. Sean Payton went to the Broncos last night. Texans get D'Amico Ryans, and the Panthers get Frank Reich. Thoughts on those?
Well, I think that's great for Moore. Go to the Chargers with a quarterback
I do
like
too,
that.
but I
see what
I
you're
don't
saying
see the
about
meshing with that coach they got now. Those are two. Kellen Moore to me just doesn't. He seems like whenever Dallas was throwing the ball really well, then all of a sudden he would stop throwing and he would run it, or they would be gashing teams on the ground and then he would force himself to pass. That's my question with him. Obviously he's getting a good setup because he's got a great quarterback.
Yes. And it's going to be for
with
another
that dingbat head coach they have and him together.
Yeah.
That's just to me seems like they'll be doing weird things. And any thoughts on the other hires? Fangio, Peyton to the Broncos. I don't think he's going to save that.
Well, if based on what we saw from Russell Wilson, I mean, was that a result of new surroundings, new coaching? I mean, I know the head coach was a buffoon, so I don't know how much that affected
Broncos have had a run of those lately.
But Peyton, Wilson was terrible. I don't know if Peyton can fix him. I don't know anything about this D'Amico Ryans guy. Good luck with him. I
think he'll do good.
And Frank Reich, he's just to me, he's just
retread garbage. Just silly hire, and you can just book it now. The Panthers will suck forever.
Yep.
They
who's their quarterback?
I don't know.
I mean, Sam
Darnold.
Figure it out.
Whoever they draft.
Figure out who's the best quarterback in that division now, Cooley.
Oh man,
Jameis.
Think about that.
What is that?
Jameis.
I mean, he's on the bench.
NFC South.
So
Andy Dalton,
Andy Dalton.
is he still under contract with the Saints?
I don't know.
He always signs
think
1 year deals
yeah.
since he left Cincinnati.
Oh, Kyle Trask might be the best
Think
quarterback.
about that. Think about that. That division's wide open if
And
somebody
that's your
can get
team
him.
Yeah,
with Cal Trask.
yeah, from Florida.
Yeah, I mean, who the Falcons got the second year guy, but I don't
was
see
terrible.
much out of him. No, and the Saints are a mess. Carolina, just horrible. Yeah, that's a bad division right there. Going to be tough there. I think that's a bad hire by the Panthers. Don't get it. I think D'Amico Ryans, he seems like he's full of energy. I think he'll get that. They already got a pretty good secondary. If they could get some better players on offense, I think they'll get back to being decent in a division that they'll be able to pass up the Colts really quickly. And Jags are going to be on the top of that. And I think Tennessee's winding down too. They're going down unless they get something skill wise and a better quarterback. But
and then how much more productive or how much longer can Derrick Henry be the workhorse?
Yeah,
he'll burn out. Tannehill's been above average, but he's not going to get any better. No, you can give him 10 Jerry Rices.
Yeah, exactly right, Chris. Yeah. They've got as much as they can get out of him, and then the
so I can see them definitely taking a step back.
Yeah.
Now the Texans also have the second pick, don't they? In the draft,
which they should have had the first, but they screwed.
But they'll still get a quarterback if they want.
Yeah, they should. They should. I'm not really sure any of those quarterbacks are the answer.
I don't either.
We'll see. I think he'll do well. I'm not a Sean Payton guy at all. I think he's choked time and time again in big games.
He's just got one Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he has Drew Brees, who's supposed to be an all-time great.
Yeah, and Matt, that's what they talk about, like the players as far as Rodgers. Well, he only has one championship. Well, so does Peyton, and he was there for 16 years.
People act like he's just going to fix all this.
He's not Vince Lombardi.
I think he's very overrated, and I think he benefited from having a very cerebral quarterback in Drew Brees to do all this stuff, and he had his little tricks through there with Hill, and they were all right, but they underachieved, and I'm so tired of the Saints complaining about that game against the Rams and that pass interference. Get over it. Yes. You had the ball again in overtime, and you could have won the game still, and you didn't do it. So
don't good teams overcome that?
Exactly.
The adversity,
I get it. It was a terrible call, and that guy, all 7 of those guys should never work again, but they will, and they have.
What about that Vikings game? When Diggs scored that touchdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mean on that last play?
Yep. They've had some pretty bad luck.
They have.
I love it.
I know you're not going to, you're definitely not liking the Saints. But no, neither do I. I'm just not. I mean, I'm sure Peyton's going to be more credible than any of these guys the Broncos have had since John Fox. But I don't look for them to take a giant leap upward. They got a good defense, so they'll be improved, but that's a tough division, so he's got his work cut out for him. Let's see. I think that's all for our opening segment here. We kind of recapped all the NFL. We're going to take a break here on Bettor's Last Stand. Come back, talk a little NHL, NBA, and college hoops. We'll be right back on Bettor's Last Stand.
This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
All right, welcome back into Bettor's Last Stand, segment number 2 here on show 27. Chris and Cools here, along with Matt. Coach still out of action. We don't know when he'll ever return. It's like he's on Soup's plan. He's always gone on Wednesdays, so we'll get him back here at some point. I know he's not the same when college football's not in session, but
no.
Yeah, I didn't get any picks from Coach yet this week either, so we'll see when he returns to the seat at some point. Just a few things to go over industry-wise. Massachusetts, the 33rd state to legalize sports betting. They opened Tuesday, at the Encore down in the Boston Harbor, and then they have one out at Plain Ridge, and then the MGM Springfield. So 3 brick-and-mortar spots you can bet in Massachusetts now, which is pretty exciting. Those people are gambling degenerates. That Encore in Boston Harbor will be just littered with people. They don't have mobile yet, so they're still waiting on mobile, but a big day for the state of Massachusetts. So they add to the list of states that are legal, 33 of them. So that's pretty crazy. 5.1 million bet on table tennis in Colorado in December. I thought that was crazy. How could you?
Jesus.
I mean, I get that during the pandemic, but how those numbers have kept up that well tells you that their Colorado people were they're all over the place.
They must be bored.
Yeah, well, they're smoking weed and staying up all night, I guess, betting their Russian table tennis.
Hey, Matt, on that second item on your industry news there about the Super Bowl is playing where they have the sports book on the premise.
First time ever.
But are there other stadiums that have?
Yeah, there's a few, like FedEx Field's got one. The Caps. Well, it's not the Cap Center anymore,
right,
but the Capital One Arena.
Have you seen any stats like how much like do they make or take in from like the venues that have it on site?
Yeah,
I'm just curious,
so most
how
of them,
much additional
depending on the
they
state
get from that.
Yeah, and like Wrigley Field's gonna. I don't know if there's open last year. It may have been the tail of last year, but so a lot of the states, when there's a game in there, you're not. They close it down, which is interesting. But other ones not.
Wait, what now?
So like when there's a game going on in there.
So like if the Redskins. They played FedEx.
Yeah, so but I don't know about that one because that's still coming. Like that's going to be the first time. But apparently the Arizona one, when they're, I don't know if it'll be different for the Super Bowl, but when the Cardinals are playing, they weren't taking wagers. I mean, mobile you can, but they weren't. I don't know what I don't understand that. I never did. So, but that each state has its own regulations and differences. So I'm not really sure why that would be. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, what's the guy the quarterback for the other team going to just hey go up there and make a bet that I throw an interception the next play? Like he sends the manager up there to make a bet. The guy's carrying money up through the stands to go bet. That's silly and stupid. And but lawmakers don't understand a lot of this. So and they don't really ever ask for help. So it's weird how they all think they know. You know, even in our state, the laws are written stupidly. Like I've been trying to get things like elections, Academy Awards, those kinds of things, and I get shot down because they have a rule that says everything that is wagered on in West Virginia has to be done on a field or a court. But so just by them putting that in there, well,
that one time this
was unnecessary.
This a couple years ago, but you made it so much. Remember, we were down at Vets on a Sunday and. There was an award show on, and where did you get those? You had odds for
you get offshore stuff. I mean, our Academy Awards are a very highly booked thing in the UK. Huge. But again, our elections, all booked in the UK. Biggest, other than that Grand National Horse Race that happens, that one that I told you guys about, is like where there's 50 horses in that race, and a bunch of them fall, and it's nuts. But other than that our elections, our presidential elections, are the biggest event in UK betting. And we're just too dumb to do it here. And I'm not saying just West Virginia. All these, whatever state jumps on first and says we're going to offer election betting is going to really show a turnaround and a jump in handle that that nobody expected. It's going to be incredible. I mean, they're not worried about election tampering. We probably have that anyway. So what good's that going to? It's not going to hurt anything. So I just feel like you have a vested interest. You're then every single person who's a registered voter is a potential bettor then. Yeah. I think it's crazy. And Miss Universe, all that stuff. We're missing out on that stuff, and I hate to see it. And I'm hoping as time goes on and the lawmakers want to educate themselves and actually talk to some people who have worked in the industry and kind of can give them an idea of how much more beneficial. I mean, they're going to make more tax dollars this way. You figure they would be on board with it. Yes. But so that book that Chris mentioned is going to be in State Farm Stadium. It's opened up now. I'm assuming they have regular operating hours probably every day. Some big bets that Caesars took early on the Eagles, right as the line opened on Sunday night. They took 21 big bets on the Eagles and just 3 on the Chiefs. 314,000 wagered in Arizona on the Chiefs. The guy did that yesterday, so plus 3.5. He bought that up to 3.5. So that's I like that bet a lot.
Wait, he put 314,000 on the Chiefs plus 3.5.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
wow,
at minus 155. So you pay a little bit for it, but I like that. Yeah. Hey, well, I guess if you got
getting the Chiefs and getting 3.5.
I guess if you got $314K to waste, why not? Huh? Yeah, it could be wasted on worse things.
Yes.
So far, the sharp money seems to be going on the over here a little bit after it went. Interesting. It opened to like 50, and then it went down a couple points, and it went back up to 50. I think it'll stick around there. I'm on the under, as I said before. Cooley got in here. We'll give our picks for the Super Bowl next week, but I'm leaning towards the under in the Chiefs in the game. 55.2 for Nevada, 55.2 million in Nevada. That's their hold for the month of December. Hey, 880.5.
Now, is that how much is the handle?
That's how much money's come in. So it's 880 million
that has come in, and
and then New York topped out in December. Obviously, December a big betting month. People holidays. 1.63 billion.
That's just
handle for New
madness.
York, and then second was New Jersey with 1.06. So craziness there, and they blew New York away. I mean, it's or Nevada. Sorry, Nevada away, and nobody ever expected that. But once these states got it, I mean, these people were degenerates. So we'll continue to see that grow as time goes on. Just a few things in NFL, things that I had highlighted. The last 4 Super Bowls have stayed under. So, again, we'll talk about more of the Super Bowl next week. Yeah, last 4 have stayed under. Super Bowl favorites 25, 27, and 3 since 1982. Mahomes 17-1 straight up against the NFC, including a 45-23 win over San Francisco in Week 9. And then this one where I put a lot of stock in. Kansas City played the 16th most difficult schedule. That's not super hard, but it's not easy. Philly played the 31st toughest. Since 2007, teams who ranked 10 spots or higher more than their opponents are 10-2 straight up, and that is in their strength of schedule, that is. 10-2 straight up, with one of the 2 losses being that Falcons debacle against the Patriots. So really probably only should have been 1, but anyway, I thought that was interesting, and just some of the Eagles are the best quarterbacks they faced all season. Again, I'm not trying to sell the team short. I like the coach. I think they got a good team. I really do. I think they'll be good for a while. But Goff, Cousins, Lawrence, Prescott, Rodgers were the quarterbacks they faced, whereas the Chiefs faced Lawrence twice, Burrow twice, Herbert twice, Brady, and Josh Allen. So I feel like the Chiefs a little more battle-tested, and the last thing I had on there, 59% of the bets on tails so far in the coin toss. No idea why that is. Tails never fails, I guess everybody says. So we'll see if it does this week. Bad beats. Nick had suffered this one. I was on the right side of this, actually. I had Texas Tech.
Oh, you finally got one.
0-9 on the they were like 0-9 in the Big 12. And they were hosting Iowa State. Iowa State catching 2. Iowa State up 23 with 12 minutes to go. And end up
plus 2, and they were up 23.
Yeah, and they lost by 3 in overtime. So I mean, just a devastating loss. Nick was on this. Champ was on this. I was on the other side. So both of those guys furious. Champ demanded that coach be fired after the game, and he told me yesterday, "No coach in the world can blow a 23-point lead with 12 minutes left." I said, "Well, happens more than you think." And he threw his ticket down in disgust. And,
I'm going to assume that game was at Texas Tech.
Yes, it was. It was at Texas Tech. So, tough one there.
Jesus, 23 points.
It's hard to do, especially against a team who had no conference wins yet.
And you're normally not a benefactor of a bad beat.
Yeah, that usually goes against me.
Right. Well, good for you.
Champ and Nick might be unluckier than I am.
Well, but Champ probably lost $5.
Oh, yeah. Nick probably lost 5,000. So anyway, our condolences to those guys. All right, let's jump over to NHL real quick. Not much to talk about. Light week. Penguins off on a bye. They needed a bye after that debacle the other night. Chris, maybe one of the worst games in Penguins history the last 10 years.
Just what a disaster against the worst team in hockey.
Casey Smith couldn't have played in the ECHL. He probably would have got taken out of the game in the ECHL game. He was so bad.
Well, you even mentioned it though prior to that. You said they should have started the backup.
They should have. Tokarski should have started. Guy. I like him better. His body's bigger. He's gonna knock more pucks around. It shouldn't be that simple, but sometimes it is, especially.
They need a shakeup of some sort.
Yeah, they do, but they're not going to be able to.
Well, they don't have any flexibility with the salary.
The trade deadline's coming up March 3rd, but the Islanders made a move yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bo Horvat from the Vancouver Canucks. I'm not sure. Islanders, I'll give them credit, though. They're Lou Lamoriello, he's a bold, executive, and he makes moves, and I like that he did it. I love Anthony Beauvillier. I think the guy they traded is very good, and I think he'll be good for the Canucks. But the Islanders, no, they're struggling. They're trying to catch the Penguins.
They're only a couple points behind them.
Yeah, they're fighting it out. The Penguins, the Panthers, the Caps, and the Islanders are all kind of fighting for the last wild cards, and that's going to go on for a while. So these games are important now, especially against those teams. And there's a long way to go, and I don't think the Penguins have much flexibility to trade anybody. I think the only tradable guy they have, other than Rust, has a no trade clause. Right. All the big guys have no trade clauses. I don't want him to trade Gensel. He's too good. They need him for the future. He's got another good 10 years in the league at least of being a good player. I think the most tradable guy they have, who's had a really good season actually, despite the team sucking, is Pettersson. Marcus Pettersson.
Yeah.
I think he's tradable. I think he's tradable, and I think they have some guys on the blue line. Their blue line, they're not going to win games by stopping people anyway. So I think you try to move him. Maybe a team's looking for him. I would like to see him upgrade a goalie too, but they're just not going to be able to.
They're stuck, and it's probably going to continue for a while. I mean,
it will.
And then when you get your core that's getting older, I mean, they're slowing down.
Well, that's the thing. You want to do the farewell tour. They're doing the exact thing that the Blackhawks and the Kings.
Well, the only thing is with them. I mean, I get having Letang, Malkin, and Crosby still back. Obviously, I mean, Crosby's going to come back no matter what. But they, what were better options though?
Well, most people say, well, I disagree with this because I don't think Vince Trocheck's that good of a player.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's all they...
I don't think he's that good. I know people kiss his ass because he's from Pittsburgh, but to me, I think they would have overpaid for him. He's a little better two-way than Malkin, but Malkin's played decent. Since Zucker's been able to be healthy, they've played pretty well together offensively, that line. So I just think, I don't know.
It's the blue line. I mean,
and their depth of their forwards on the third and fourth line have been they've really struggled. So I don't know what the solution is, and maybe if they get the goaltending back. But they're not going anywhere, so don't waste any tickets on betting them.
No, do not.
As a matter of fact, betting them to miss the playoffs is probably not a terrible bet at all, because they're literally another Jari injury away from probably missing it. So
and then well, we mentioned this before. If they get that second wild card, they're going to get their brains beaten by Boston.
Now Boston's struggled a little bit. Boston always beats the Penguins.
Yep.
They really have. Honestly, since Mario Lemieux played, Boston's probably beat the Penguins just about every time they've played them in the playoffs.
And they're so much bigger and more physical than the Penguins.
And they got stable goaltending. And just two lines of really good players. So NHL All-Star game is this weekend. Sunrise, Florida. It's actually not a game. It's multiple games. It's like a 3-on-3 tournament. So Atlantic Division is favored in that. I think they're probably the rightful favorites. They got those Boston guys. They got Austin Matthews. They got some of the guys on Tampa. So they're very loaded offensively. But I thought that the Pacific Division was worth a flyer. I think the Metro will be the worst. That's the Penguins division. I think that they'll get their brains stomped in by whoever they play. They just don't have it. That's an aging division, and I don't see a lot of dynamic players in there right now. Pacific Division I thought was worth a look. Having McDavid and Draisaitl in this 3-on-3 type tournament is going to be pretty good. So I take a look at the Pacific at plus 305. They're the third choice to maybe take a shot on winning. I'm not sure. In the 3-on-3, it really a lot of it's just going to depend on breaks and how things and a couple goalies that make a highlight reel saves and things like that, because it's just honestly, if executed properly, 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s is automatic goals for these guys. I mean, they're that good. So.
But what's the intensity level in these three? I'm
not good.
Okay, I mean obviously because that's just what bothers me.
Yeah, I don't think
with all these All-Star games.
Yeah, I get it for the community, the Sunrise. I'm sure it's cool to see some of these guys.
Oh yeah.
But that's the only reason. Honestly, if I was the NHL, I'd probably do this in before the season started or something. I just think at this time of the year, these guys are Penguins are actually fortunate because they got the week off. They actually
how did that work out?
It's random buys. They just draw those and.
They got theirs.
Now, last night, when I left here last night, I went home and the Caps were playing somebody, and then there's more games tonight.
Yeah, there's a few more games. Yeah.
Is tonight the last night then?
Yeah.
Or maybe
tonight or tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think tonight. Okay,
well, good for them.
In Wednesday. All right, let's jump on to Cooley's NBA now. Your trade deadline's approaching even sooner than the NHL one, February 9th. Thoughts from the week? I know LeBron made all the news when he acted like his family was slaughtered in front of him after that foul. I mean, I get it. He got fouled. I get it. But, I mean, I don't feel sorry for him. He's had plenty of calls go his way. Again, though.
They said he traveled on that play.
He could have.
Yeah, I saw that. Did you see it?
I didn't see the travel, but...
yeah, I mean, it's arguable. I mean,
and then Patrick Beverly bringing a camera on.
Yeah, I've tried that before. They don't listen.
He got teed up.
They don't listen.
Yeah,
I got thrown out of games for trying to do that. I got it right here, man. It's off him, and it's like, you're out of here.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear it. Those guys don't like being wrong, and when they are, it doesn't matter. So, Wizards win 6 in a row. Bucks have won 5 in a row. Wizards playing good ball, Cooley. The Eastern Conference, really, really tough. God, those playoffs are going to be just incredible.
It's going to be.
I actually will enjoy keeping an eye on. I hope the series don't disappoint where teams just trounce. But I hope everybody's healthy, and I hope they actually, because I think you could have some really good 5-game series that are going to the wire.
I would love that, especially getting like a
right out of the
7, 8.
Because remember how bad for years, Chris, the 1 versus 8? It was a waste of time. It was a 30-40 point win every night by the one team. You might throw them a bone and let them win one.
Right.
The gentleman's sweep, they call it. Let them have one. But I don't know. I think that Eastern Conference is going to be. But again, I think the West will be too, because of the teams that are resting their players that'll have the Clippers. So they might be the 4th or 5th seed. So should be good stuff there. Pelicans lose 9 in a row as they lost again last night. Cooley, what the hell's wrong with the Pelicans?
Man, they got to get healthy, man. They were like my sleeper team at the beginning of the year. They were playing
really well,
and now they're just falling apart. They got to get healthy. I think Bi came back.
Yeah.
Recently, is Zion back?
I
don't know if he played. I want to say he didn't, but I could be wrong.
I don't think he's back.
I didn't notice him if he did play. Yeah, it's weird how these teams they get a few guys hurt and their rotation gets messed up, and then their entire everything's off. Then
and it kind of sucks because I have no reason to dislike Zion, and he could be like one of the new young faces of the league,
right?
But he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, he's just too massive. His feet get hurt all the time, and his ankles get hurt.
That's what we say about Lamar Jackson: the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
But
and you can say that about a lot of pro athletes.
Yeah, the Heat had a big win last night.
Yeah. 3 points. Did you ever get to watch it?
No, I couldn't find a channel. And that makes me so mad.
What service do you have?
I have Comcast.
Oh, okay. So you don't get it used to be STO.
And the Lakers were on TNT.
Valley Sports Ohio. And so they probably blacked that out on your ticket because you're supposed to be in range.
Well,
Comcast really lets you guys down with that. That's
well,
ridiculous.
I think the Cavs have a game coming up. I think they play Memphis tomorrow. I think their next game, and it's on TNT. Now I don't get Comcast anymore, but would they show it on TNT?
Should be. It's a national
because it's a national.
I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, that's.
But sometimes on NBA TV it did.
Yeah, NBA TV though is different because you're getting a regional feed. You're not getting it like TNT's got their own feed.
Right.
The NBA TV you're getting a feed from one of the teams usually. Right. Usually how that works. But
that's just
anyway, TV blackout. There's another thing. Outdated, and it's time for legislators in leagues to get together and figure out a way to stop doing that. It's ridiculous. They got teams 6 hours away from the people that are getting it blacked out. And the Cavs, Cleveland's not right up the street from us. Like it's not. It shouldn't be getting blacked out here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not an NBA market here. Our area here should not be blacked out for anything.
Yeah,
we don't live close enough to anybody to black it out.
And we don't have any Cleveland channels to watch.
No.
We don't have an NBA team.
That's why we're getting there. That's counting as our closest NBA team.
Who would be the second closest team, probably? Somebody in the East.
Probably the Pistons.
The Hornets, maybe?
No, the Pacers, probably. Pacers, Hornets would be. Yeah. Pacers are 5 hours.
Charlotte's maybe 6.
Yeah, so probably the Pacers would be our next closest.
Yeah, that would always make me mad. Like I would get ready to watch a Cavs game, and then they have the blackout message on the TV. This is bullshit.
That's just
the MLB is even worse because you have 160 games. And I can't even watch 80 of them because they're all blacked out.
Yeah, it's archaic, that philosophy of blacking out. In Las Vegas, they black out Dodger games and stuff, and it's like 6 hours away. So what the hell's the matter with you? You can't even get it on in books. It's terrible. They get blacked out a bunch of games out there in Vegas, actually. It's just silly. Somebody's got to rethink it. Somebody's got to be smart enough to get that taken care of. You're losing out on people. Because then when you figure out, okay, I'm buying these packages and I'm still not able to see what I want to watch. Like, it's terrible. Mm-hmm. They already rape you enough for these things anyway. They kill you. These prices are they're gouging you and you still can't get the product. They're taking off news channels now. That's like a big war going on. It's crazy. All right, let's go to buyers and sellers. Kings, Bucks, Mavs, Grizzlies, Blazers. Do you think they'll all be buyers? Anybody else, Cooley, that you look to make a big spot? I know you're hoping your team probably does.
Man, I don't think they.
As long as they don't trade Haywood, we'll be good.
Yeah. We need to keep him, but I think the Heat are gonna try to be sellers a little bit. I think they're gonna try to clear the books for next year.
Smart move.
But I'm
not really smart enough to do that.
Yeah, I want them to make win now moves, obviously, but I don't know. Let's see.
Got to pick your spots carefully.
Mavs got to be buyers. We've been saying that the last couple of weeks. Let's see. Grizzlies. I saw they might get OG from the Raptors. Yeah. I think that would be a great trade for the Grizzlies. That would put them over the top.
I agree. They're close. They're close. They can just keep their heads about them and not act like idiots. They're probably close. What about the Blazers? I saw people saying buyers, but I think they should sell.
Yeah, they keep saying they're buyers, but
they're in the 12th spot.
Yeah.
Why would they be buyers?
I don't know, Chris. I couldn't figure that out either. I read an article about it today. I didn't understand it, but I think the Kings could be selectively because I think they're a little ahead of schedule, so they probably don't want to give up any major assets. And then I assume the Bucks will probably look to try to add a piece, a veteran guy that's ready to get bought out or something that they'll take.
Bucks were talking to Jay Crowder and Serge Ibaka.
Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder's like in the conference finals every year with a different team.
It's incredible.
Because he can defend and rebound. And that's about it.
And shoot the three.
Yeah, he can guard like 4 spots on the floor. I guess that's really valuable to these teams.
Good for him.
In today's NBA. Sellers, obviously the Raptors. I think the Hawks absolutely need to sell. They keep acting like you said John Collins will get traded again.
Jesus, the poor guy's got to be a mess.
Every year he gets his bags packed.
But then he prepares and then they never send him.
Never. It's like he every year he's the guy. He's always in Atlanta still. Bulls, I think, should just tear it down, and then Detroit. I don't even know. They said Detroit wants like a king's ransom for Bogdanovich. They're asking like way too much. They say. So.
Bojan said that they told him that he's a part of the core of the future. So
I like that guy.
He's pretty good ball player.
So they should hang on to him then if they're not going to sell. I don't know what else they have to sell.
How much is it? It's just him playing on a bad team, right?
It's good. It is. No, he is a good player. And I think when they get Cunningham back, and I think Ivy's going to be good. There are a couple pieces away. I did think they'd be better this year. I'm disappointed. I gave them out as one of my playoff teams. They're the worst fucking team in the league.
Who's that?
The Pistons.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I saw that. Is this right? Or
I gave out the Pistons and the Ducks. And two worst teams in 2 leagues. But I'm not always wrong. I do. Matter of fact, going back to the NHL, I think a team that I look for maybe to make a move and you could get a decent future price on. LA Kings. I think if they can make a couple of trades, I think they can be dangerous. I think they can win the Pacific Division, and I think they can go far in the playoffs. I think the Western Conference is wide open. Don't know about the NBA yet. I'll have to give you my picks after the deadline, but we'll be dependent on Cooley for that.
Study up, Coles.
I will.
With the trade deadline, you'd be on your phone. When is that? February 9th, you say?
Yeah, my phone will be buzzing
all
night.
Go.
It's coming up. We're less than, just over a week away. Just a week from Friday, right? Is that right? Or no,
Friday,
week from tomorrow.
Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So next Thursday. All right.
Groundhog Day's tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, good. Can't wait.
Dumbest thing ever.
Maybe Soup can book us the groundhog.
Get a few words from him.
Jeez. All right. Our last part of segment 2 here, just touch a little on the college basketball. I saw this the other night on the game. And we talk about these officials. Maybe the problem is some of them were overworked. John Higgins, who's a reputable guy and has been around for a long time, he's usually the crew chief on most of his crews. His schedule last week was ridiculous. No human can be asked to be at their peak performance by doing these games. At Rutgers, that's in Piscataway, New Jersey. Then he's at San Diego on Wednesday. So Rutgers was Tuesday night. San Diego, now that's about as far a flight as you can take across the country. So from Rutgers, New Jersey to San Diego on Wednesday, then up to Oregon State, Corvallis on Thursday, back down to Stanford on Saturday, and then at Purdue on Sunday. Oh no, he's not done. Wrap around. Then he's down to Texas in Austin on Monday. That is absurd. That is not fair to the guy, and I don't know how you can expect a guy to be good every night with that kind of schedule. The NBA guys can't play 2 nights in a row. This guy can officiate. He's running up and down as much as they are.
6 games.
And this guy's in his probably almost his 60s.
Yeah, I was going to say he's been around a while. But who assigns these guys? Who? Piscataway, New Jersey. Then you go out to San Diego.
I can't even imagine how much money he just made that week. Probably $100,000.
Oh, it was probably worth
And you know what? You get paid
$100,000
$100,000 and not even have to matter if you're good or bad.
Yeah.
You're going anyway.
So he only had Friday off.
Yeah, because there's no games on Friday. Like you get the Metro Atlantic and the Ivy League. There's the only 2 leagues that play on Friday usually. Sometimes the Horizon League, but that's it.
Then you go from Stanford. I don't know if the Stanford game was a night game, but he turned around and most of the games on Sunday are in day games.
Yeah, that's Purdue games day. I would guarantee you had to take a red eye from Stanford.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
I mean, that's still. I mean, well, couldn't you keep these guys like in at least like the same time zone?
Well, he did. He stayed in the same time zone for 3 days. Wednesday, Thursday, actually Friday, and then Saturday. He was all in the Pacific time zone. Then he comes and he's in the and he goes to the Midwest to Purdue. And then
so he was at least
Central
3 of them,
time,
right?
and then
Central?
he stayed in Central time for Texas. Yeah.
So he started out in Eastern, went to the Pacific, and then ended up in the Central.
Yeah.
My God.
Absurd. Just
That-
maybe that's the problem why guys are not.
Well, I
doing it
can
well.
understand if that guy not being on top of his game.
I know.
I mean,
God. Well, hopefully he had some good meals or something.
if he had time to eat, or he had to
Found
eat
some good
airplane food.
streetwalkers out there or something. I don't know. Any other observation? Purdue obviously playing really well. We keep talking about how wide open this college basketball is. We'll continue to focus in a little bit here as we come down the stretch on the show here.
That'll be fun when we got to talk about March
It's going to
Madness.
be friggin' wild. There's going to be a lot of maybe Florida Atlantic will make a
Oh.
run. They keep winning, so that's pretty exciting for the Owls. But all right, well, we're going to take a break here on Bettor's Last Stand. Be back with our final segment of the week. Going to recap some of our golf winners we had last week. Finish up our tennis, which we did well in that as well. And then talk a little bit of NASCAR, the first event of the year this weekend. So we'll be right back on Bettor's Last Stand.
This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
All right, welcome back into Bettor's Last Stand, segment 3. Going to talk a little golf, NASCAR, and, just really recapping the Tennis Australian Open. We had 2 winners with Djokovic and Sabalenka, so we swept the board there. Pretty easy for Joker. He pretty much had his way the whole time. Sabalenka played really good, and she is on top form right now, so both of them pretty good prices. Hopefully you rode them throughout the tournament, played them in various to make the finals and so forth. You could pick the exact matchups and things like that. So that was a good one. We'll look forward to the French Open coming up in the spring. That'll be our next major tennis focus. As for golf, really good weekend for us last week. The Farmers turned out well. We gave out Max Homa here. We had Keegan Bradley, who finished second. Max Homa was the winner at 22-1. We had Jason Day 7th, Justin Rose 18th. We gave those out as top 10s and top 20 picks. So really, really good weekend for us in golf here on Bettor's Last Stand. Damn. And be sure to check the Pine Room picks. I'm going to start putting the Pine Room picks up on the Twitter myself because Jub's apparently not had the time to do it the last few weeks. So hopefully if you were looking for those, I'm just going to start putting them on Twitter on the Pioneer Podcast and Bettor's Last Stand Twitter, so you can at least see those when he's not able to get to it. I hate to let people down like that, as try to give you good picks out at good prices, and hopefully we continue to do as well as we did in football season and with the Australian Open and the golf. We've got to stay hot in golf. Just shifting to the golf this week, we got the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. This is out in Pebble Beach, California. Obviously, the historic Pebble Beach golf links course out by the water. No, my dad has, but no. It's a beautiful course right there by the sea. This Pro-Am, they play a couple of the different courses, and they pair up the professionals with the usually celebrities, entertainers, a lot of athletes like Steph Curry and guys like that. We usually play in this if they're able to. I don't know what his basketball schedule permits, but like guys play when they're able to. It's a cool event. Lot of Bill Murray and Charles Barkley and guys like that.
So, are they listed on here? Or
no, I mean, okay. You're not gonna be able to bet.
Josh Allen skipping the Pro Bowl to play in that.
Yeah, probably less likely to hurt his elbow.
Yeah, rather that or
waste
go
time
play
in a
flag football in the sand.
Yeah, where you can get hurt.
Might not be in the sand.
No, I don't think it's in the sand anymore. But
it's embarrassing.
Yeah. So just going over a couple of guys that I really like this week. Jordan Spieth is great at this course. He's one of the favorites here, around 8-9 to 1. I wouldn't recommend betting him pre-tournament. That's kind of one of my betting tips for the week. I think guys like Spieth, who are going to be low prices at a tournament like this, you wait, see how they do on day 1 or 2, and then come back and hit them with the in-play. So I'd stay away from Spieth. Hovland and Fitzpatrick, who are the favorites this week out there at Pebble. See how they do tomorrow, Thursday, and then come back and hit them on Friday and Saturday if they're a little off the pace or kind of out of contention. These guys can make runs. Spieth's game's been pretty sharp lately. He's coming back, and I think he'll be in contention on the weekend. I think a top 5 for him is a great bet. I think he's going to be dialed in and ready to go. A couple of longer shot guys. I like Seamus Power. He's 25 to 1. I think playing him to top 20 or top 10 is a really good pick. Tom Hoagie's the defending champ. Top 20 for him. Really safe bet if you ask me. He's 18 to 1 to win it. I doubt he repeats. It's tough to do, but I would take a shot with him. So that's Hoagie and Power. Will Gordon's a young guy who's played well. He seems to play well here as well. 65 to 1 he is to win this tournament. I don't think he'll win, but a top 20 bet at plus 120 on Will Gordon I think is worth a roll of the dice. Joel Damon, another solid player, plays this course well. 40 to 1. I think a top 10 for him is a very good bet. Wouldn't expect him to win, but he certainly could. And then 2 other longer shot guys. Eric Van Rooyen, who's a streaky player, has been playing pretty well. Played really well here in the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach a couple of years ago. And that the course is set up really difficult for that U.S. Open. So I like him. He's 80 to 1 to win this. Top 10, I think you can get $3 or $4 on a top 10. I think it's a great bet. So take a shot with him. And then Webb Simpson, whose game has been starting to come back into form. He was one of the better players on tour, and then he kind of just, I don't know, something happened with him. I don't know what he had going on in his life, but he kind of lost it, and he's starting to get it back. He putts really well here at Pebble. He's played really well in the U.S. Open here. I think a top 10 or top 20 is worth a shot with him. He's around 80 or 100 to 1 to win this. I don't think he wins it, but his game's starting to come back, and I think he can get plus money. So all those guys, again, Van Rooyen, Simpson, Spieth, Hoagie, Power, Damon, and Gordon. All guys, take a look. See if you like matchups with them. Plus money prices on top 10s, top 5s, top 20s. I think we'll have another good week in golf. I like all those guys. I think Spieth's going to be very, very tough here. And then you got to expect guys like Fitzpatrick and Rose as well, as I mentioned, will be kind of the favorites. Wouldn't count out Justin Rose either. He plays well at Pebble Beach, and his game has been pretty sharp the last few weeks. We had him last week, and he got a nice top 20 as he starts to get back to full health. Let's see, where are we going next? Oh, NASCAR. All right, good. I'm looking forward to this. NASCAR's back. This is not a points event, but this is the Busch Clash, actually Busch Light, our former sponsor, Busch Light. Yes. So drink a Busch Light, watch the Busch Clash on Sunday. It's at the LA Coliseum. Really cool event. I really enjoyed this event last year. the racing was great. Action-packed the whole way. Tons of passing, close quarters, tight turns, guys bumping, guys getting pissed off, spinning each other around, fires and wreckage. Just fun stuff. Really enjoyed that. I thought it was one of the best events that NASCAR had in a long time.
Yeah,
I wish it was a points.
And some
event.
of those ones are, they're kind of gimmicky, but this one did turn out. They got the results that they wanted on this, I think, and that's the very, very short track. Like it's like an 8-second lap.
Yeah, very, very quick. It makes Bristol look like a super speedway.
But how many cars were entered into that?
23 last year. They're going to have 27 this year.
Okay, so I would say that's too small to have like 40.
Yeah, they can't have 40. They decided they thought they could get 27, and so 27 car field. Then they get 3 qualifying laps is kind of how they set. So they go each car gets 3 qualifying laps to get their best speed. Then they put them, as they qualify, they get put into heat races based on their speeds in qualifying. So you got 4 heat races. The winners of all the heat races will go on so you got 4 heat races. The top, or the winner of each one of those will make out the top 4 in the overall starting lineup for the main race.
And those will all be televised too.
Oh yeah. It's really good. And again, the betting changes so much on this, so you got to be aware. You got to be watching. You got to be seeing who's got a good car, who isn't, who's struggling to pass, and so on and so forth. You can get some value here, definitely, even if your car gets knocked around and drops to the back. If you can just get into the next race, it's kind of a survive in advance. The top 5 from each of the 4 heats then get into the final, so that'll give you 20 cars. And then they put the last guys who were finished like 6 through 10 in the heat races, they go into their own race to race their way into the big show for the final 27 spots. You get 6 spots will be made up by those cars competing for those last 6 spots, and then 1 provisional that's given to the old Darrell Waltrip provisional, like they used to do.
Right.
The 2022 provisional points. So the guy who didn't make it, who finished highest in the points last year, would be able to get into that 27th spot. So I thought last year's race, as I mentioned, was really, really good, and I'm looking forward to betting on this and making some adjustments throughout. It's tough because it's only the second time they've ever done this. Joey Logano won last year. He won the championship last year as well. So I don't think he repeats. It's tough to repeat in a situation like this. It's very close quarters. My top pick this week will be Chris Bell. He's 8-1 to win it. I'm going to keep an eye on him and see how it goes. He's a very good short track racer. I thought he was great last year. He really, really kind of came on the scene as a star. I think he's going to have a really good chance. I think Kyle Busch is going to run well here. He makes the changeover to Richard Childress Racing this year. I think he's going to be extra motivated. He raced really well here last year. Look out for him. Tyler Reddick, who Busch is replacing, goes over to the Denny Hamlin Michael Jordan 2311 Racing. He kind of left RCR high and dry, so there could be some bad blood there. He'll probably run pretty well here. I think he'll be dangerous and in contention. He's a very good racer, and he's actually getting a slight upgrade in equipment. Maybe not much, but that's a good team. Some other guys, I thought Ryan Preece gets back to a full-time ride this year with Stuart Haas.
Yeah, I just saw him listed there.
Yeah, he's Stuart Haas now. He's going to be in that car. The other car with... who's his teammates? Shoot, I'm drawing a blank now. But anyway, Stuart Haas, a good outfit. That's Kevin Harvick and one other, Almirola maybe.
Would you say NASCAR is a pretty good sport for like live betting?
Yeah, it is. It's really good sport for live betting. Especially on your bigger speedways and even your short tracks. The big speedways, it's exceptional. It's like golf. You can take shots on guys and they can be 20th, and then all of a sudden they can be in first. Your short tracks, you got to pick your spots. You kind of want, in an event like this, you want to watch early on, see guys who you think are able to stick on the bottom well and pass, and you start looking for little things to say, like, I like the way that he's doing this or whatever, or the high line's working for him, and he's got something that the other guys don't have, and then you kind of wait for your spot, whether they get whether they're pitting or he has a little bit of an issue, and you can kind of wait for his odds to go up or down. You want to try to obviously catch him when the odds go up, and you still think he can battle back. So you can get guys who maybe are a low price, like Chris Bell, for instance. For me, if he has a rough first go of it, and he maybe finishes third or fourth in that first heat race, and maybe you still like the way he's racing, you're going to get a better price on him. So yes, NASCAR, another really good live sport. Back to the couple of other guys that I like, Eric Almirola, Austin Cindric, I think will both be solid racers here. I look for them maybe in the top 3s or top 5s. You can probably get 10-1, 14-1 on those. Ty Gibbs, interested to see how he'll do. He's obviously racing for his granddad, Joe Gibbs. First year a full ride on the Joe Gibbs racing team. I think it's going to be interesting, Chris, to see how he translates to the Cup races. He raced pretty well last year and was filling in for Kurt Busch when Kurt Busch had his concussion issues, but he's not going to be able to get away with the stuff he got away with in the Xfinity Series.
No, he was kind of like
him and Gregson were going at it pretty hard.
Is Gregson on? He also got a full-time
ride?
Good for those guys making the jump.
Yeah, two good young racers. We're going to be.
Christ, I mean, this Gibbs is like.
He looks like
20?
A high schooler.
Yeah,
he looks like some kid in Cooley's class.
You're right. Yeah, Cooley would be.
He's literally like a little kid.
Yeah.
He looks like a tiny
you know
kid.
what? I like the guy. I mean, not so much to win it. Just good for him because he brings a little swag and he's got some. They might knock him down a peg, but I like that. Like some.
No, I think it's great. It keeps the competitive juices flowing. Ty Dillon, another guy who battles. He's just trying to find the right team to make an impact. I think I don't know how good his equipment is, but I like him. I think he raced really well here last year. He's like 500-1 to win this. I doubt he can win it, but I'd take a shot with him to finish in the top 5 or 10. And then another long shot that I really like is Justin Haley. He ran really well here last year, and I think him in the top 5 spot, maybe around 10-1, is a good bet. But I'm going with Bell. Chris, who you liking in this? Anybody stick out?
I don't know.
I mean, this is a hard race to pick. He's only ever done it one time. Any gut feelings?
No, I really don't. I'm picturing that course and how small it was. I want to pick a young guy, so I'll go with what you picked, Chris Bell, just because the other guys. Not that these other guys are old, but I did want to ask you a quick question, and pardon my ignorance, but is Kurt Busch?
He's done. Yeah.
Did he retire?
Yeah, he retired.
Okay. All right, and then. So I really don't know, man. I'm looking forward to it. I do have.
Coach can't fade him this year. He's retired. Kurt Busch.
That's
bet
right.
against him every race.
And he said he had no reason.
No reason to. Kurt Busch is a great guy. I really like him.
Is like the front page here says 8 p.m. This says 5 p.m. I assume.
Well, that's 5 p.m. Pacific. That's
okay.
Yeah, that's that one up from a circa I printed on Pacific time. So
so we're getting it at 8.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I don't know if that means the final race is starting at 8. I have to actually look into that. Yeah, I know that it's not. It's a long. I assume that the main race is set for around 8. So you got a good couple hours. That's a good point that Chris just brought up. So be looking and check. I imagine the first races will start around 6-ish, and then your heat races aren't very long, so they'll go pretty quick. And
the big race, how many laps is that?
I want to say it was
a couple hundred.
I want to say it was like 125.
Okay.
I thought last year.
It did go quickly, but.
All right, so
that's going to be.
Cooley, who you like? Any random names stick out? Any guys you throw a pick out?
I'm going to go, and this is a wild one here.
All right.
BJ McLeod.
There you go. Boom.
Yes.
He wins at 500-1. That'll be the best ticket ever cashed here on Bettor's Last Stand.
Well, like some of these guys, and we see them all the time, like J.J. Yelly and Corey LaJoie. These guys always have rides, and I know they're not on great teams, but these guys they're almost like a jobber in
Corey LaJoie's actually. Corey
LaJoie
has had some good runs in the super speedways, like the restrictor plate type. He's had some really good finishes. So.
I just wonder, I feel bad for some of these guys that they know they have no shot of winning. So for guys like that can get
they're just kind of trying to race their way into getting noticed enough to get a better ride, I guess.
Well, I'm gonna ask that. Do they just have the cars just aren't as good?
Yeah, because equipment and obviously engines and stuff, and a lot of the lower teams will buy engines from some of the bigger teams and stuff like that. But they can't keep as many race cars, build as many race cars. They're not getting the sponsors that these other teams are getting. So yeah, money's tough. I mean, it's tough for them to maintain. So whereas Denny Hamlin might have like 13 different cars he races in 1 year, these smaller teams are got like 3. So you're having to set them all up for different tracks and all. And obviously with this new type of car, And a lot of that's went away compared to what it used to be. It's actually a more even playing field now as they switched to this.
No, those teams don't have the money that these other big. So that sucks for them. They get a race car that just totally gets caught up in a big wreck. It is.
And then just paying the crews and the crew chiefs, and there's so much that goes into having a good race team. But yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I do give those guys credit for sticking it out and trying.
It just you feel kind of.
But I think NASCAR's in a good spot now. It's starting to have a major resurgence. You have it reminds me a lot of golf because I could count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I would say almost between 25 and 28 guys legitimately, I would tell you, have a chance to win this race and have a chance to win a race each week. Obviously, some tracks guys are way better at than others and it would eliminate some of them. But it's wide open. Whereas, in the NASCAR's glory days, Chris, you know this very well. I mean, 6 to 8 guys could win every week. I mean, it was just dominated. Those were great racers. And then NASCAR went to another kind of when it got less popular. It was Jimmy Johnson winning every week. Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, and that was about it. And the rest of the guys just sucked. And now this is getting good again. Now this is probably the best it's ever been as far as competitiveness.
And it seems like in our group of people that we know, or just our circle of friends, and either. Other people that seem to be starting to take an interest in this.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're like us. They're
getting tired. Get on the board down to Vets with us every Sunday. Then
they just get tired of the pro football and whatnot.
Yes, who doesn't?
This. I mean, I like the change they made, and I do like a lot of these young guys. Whether don't know how much success they will have. Hopefully, they do well. But it's nice. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
As am I. All right, guys. Any closing thoughts on the week? Anything stick out sports-wise that we haven't discussed? I know it's kind of a quiet week. I mean, not really, but you got a lot of other obscure things. No NFL. Cooley, what are you going to focus on sports-wise this weekend?
I'll definitely getting started back into the NBA and the draft.
Okay. So that's ready for your draft.
I love draft season, man. I always make my own mock draft, pick one all the way to 32.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
I love watching those.
We'll do that on the show.
Mm-hmm. But it's from the Browns' first pick's the 42nd pick, so they don't get it.
We could do our own mock draft, so who gets more.
We should definitely do that. We'll have to make that a point of emphasis. Get Nick.
We got to get Nick.
Then we'll get Jubb involved. See what he comes up with.
Jubb would draft Johnny Unitas or something. Got it tied 8 years ago.
Yeah. All right, well, that about does it here for Bettor's Last Stand. Last reminder for your Super Bowl squares. Get down to the Warwood Vets. Get on the board. We got about 20 left on each board. We'll sell them out here quickly. Come on down Sunday and see us. Enjoy the sports weekend with your NBA, your NHL, your college basketball. You can't forget the Pro Bowl, which we can't even really make odds on because it's a flag football game. AT&T Pro-Am, and, of course, the Busch Clash. We will be back here. I don't know who's going to be with me next week. We'll see. Might be you guys. Might be Coach. If he maybe makes his return, we shall see. Anyway, check out all the I can't even talk. All of the Pine Room information at the Pine Room Podcast. Check out all the videos on YouTube. Check our podcasts out on Spotify, Amazon, all the other podcast platforms. Jubb's putting stuff up from the hockey game you guys went to, the Belmont Savings Bank commercial, your guys' workout sessions down there on Sunday mornings, which are about almost, you got a few more weeks left of that. So check out all that stuff at the Pirate Podcast on social, all of our stuff. Like I said, I'm going to try to put our BLS picks out on the Twitter page from now on as well, just to make sure that they get up. The Instagram hasn't worked out that well in recent weeks, so we apologize for that, but I'm going to do a better job of making sure those picks are up and readily available, because some of this stuff I can't really pick on the show until later in the week. So
when do you need those by? I'll send mine to you.
I'll put them, usually, he wanted us to have them to him by Thursday night, so I usually always send mine Thursday morning or afternoon. to be put up on Friday. We put them up for the weekend, so
Well,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then if we had a wraparound or something.
I might give myself a little bit of a homework assignment.
There you go. Fire me some picks.
Right.
We'll put them up on the Twitter page, Chris. Good job. If you have any comments or anything you want us to talk about or dive into deeper, we can go further into these things from a betting aspect. I try to keep it loose as much as I can. I don't want to make people bored with things they may not understand. So if you have any questions, contact at the Pirate Podcast. Check us out on there. Send us a message. Let us know
we always like to
more we can talk about. And
we'd like to hear if you had any wins or losses via bad beats.
Yeah,
we get a kick out of that.
Bad beats are a sad thing, but they're definitely fun to talk about.
Maybe
not for everybody.
It's funny though, it's just odd that you actually benefited last night from that one.
That one last my one good break of the year. So and I used it up already. It's just now.
Maybe that's a sign of things to come.
We'll see. Maybe this is the year that things turn for the better. So anyway, that'll do it for us on Bettor's Last Stand. We will see you next week here in the Pine Room studio. Until then, good luck on your bets, and we will see you next week.